This interview is taking place on the traditional and unceded territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples from which I work, and the unceded territory of the Halkomelem-speaking peoples from which I live today. As a guest on this land, I'm committed to listen and to learn what it means to conduct myself on unceded territory and to recognize the ongoing injustices and the past ones to Indigenous peoples. I would like to take a brief moment for the both of us just to recognize this, and then we'll move on from thereafter. Awesome. Thanks so much, Alex. So without further ado, would you mind just introducing yourself briefly?
Yeah, so my name is Alex. I work for the YMCA of Southern Interior BC. The YMCA introduced me to Choose to Move, which is kind of what led me to this meeting. But yeah, I've been with the YMCA now for about 2 years, and I also work as a clinical exercise physiologist for interior health. So the YMCA offers the Choose to Move program here, and I think they have been for way longer than I've been here. But one of my managers thought it would be a good program for me since I was working with a lot of older adults and running some of our health programs like Healthy Hearts, Hip and Knee, Breathe Well, Healthy Aging. So they thought it might be something that would be interesting for me to introduce myself to new people and help them find these programs. So that's kind of what led me to lead Choose to Move. I went through all the training. I wasn't super sold on the idea because I wasn't sure if it was going to be effective. I wasn't sure if I was going to get people. I'd heard some crazy stories because there's always going to be the odd person, right? But as soon as I started running the program, I immediately fell in love with it. I've ran so many, I don't even know if I can count them now, it feels like, and that's only been over 2 years. So that's sort of what led me to the program. I've been loving it ever since. I'm always thankful that my manager recommended it to me because we typically only get one person in our facility that can lead it because it's not going to be run continuously all the time. So I felt really blessed and lucky that they asked me to take that on.
Awesome. It sounds like you're enjoying the program so far. And I guess that leads me to my next question, which is what keeps you motivated to continue in your role? It sounds like you're really enjoying it so far. So
yeah, motivation comes and goes for sure. But I would definitely say the biggest motivator for me when it comes to Choose to Move specifically is seeing the returns of the individuals, like seeing how they're progressing, seeing how they're doing, hearing the positive changes they're experiencing. I actually just had a Choose to Move person walk by my window and wave at me, and that made me so happy because it's, you know, sometimes you run the program, you don't always see people, especially if you're not working in the same facility or you're working out of a community-based area. But I feel really lucky that in the facility I work in, I get the chance to run into these people and see, oh my God, like 6 months later, they're still working out, like they're still here doing their thing and loving it. So I think that definitely keeps me motivated. Another motivation piece for me is every time Choose to Move starts and every time it ends, I feel this kick of motivation. I get excited with the new group. You know, maybe midway through the session, we're just sort of chugging along, going through the information. But once we get closer to the end in those last 3 meetings, I always get that reminder of why I'm doing this, how excited I am to see these people improve and see how they have improved. And yeah, and especially it helps that those last 3 meetings are so fun. I love those ones.
yeah, especially the last one. It's just like a big celebration, right? And it's nice to see
bring all
people.
the food.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So just like a rough estimate, how many participants would you say you've coached?
Each session I usually get 10 to 15. And I've done a few times actually. I felt really lucky to get to do this, but there was so much interest that we ran 2 sessions at the same time. One in morning and one in afternoon. So I would say for myself, overall, I've probably had 8 groups. So around 80 people, I would say.
Wow, yeah. That's like close to 100. That's really great.
Yeah. Now that I think about it like that, that's actually really surprising.
Yeah, no, that's like a ton of people. And like out of all of the people that you've been able to work with, do you have like any like specific participant journeys or like experiences that come to mind for you?
Yeah, there's been quite a few actually. One woman specifically, though, I will always remember her because somehow every time we run a Choose to Move session, someone is in this program that was referred by her. And I don't know how she knows everybody. But lots of people know her. She recommends lots of people into the program when she hears a new one's coming. So she did the program with me about 6 months ago. Her goal at the end of all of this was to be able to go walk what's it called? The Camino, I think it is. She was really excited about it. It was kind of her long-term goal. She was getting into like her 60s and she was like, if I want to do this, like I need to start being active. I've never seen someone take to activity so quickly and love it so much who hadn't been active before. And she was an incredible participant. She attended every meeting. She motivated others. She encouraged them to come with her to some of the classes she was going to. And then, like I said, after the program ended, I've seen, I think, 5 or 6 referrals from her since she finished her program. And she still comes here to this day. I still see her all the time, even though I think whenever she finished, it would have been about 6 months ago, maybe more now.
Sounds like she's a real advocate for the program, and I'm sure if she could, she'd take it again like right away. But as you know, like there's that 2-year kind of thing that we have. So
yeah.
Yeah. But I'll just move on to the next question here. So I guess in your own words, why do you think people or older adults should join Choose to Move?
I think Choose to Move has an incredible way of helping people find community. I've seen this a few times with participants who had recently lost their husband or wife or spouse. But I've also seen it in people who moved, into Kelowna area where I live, and they moved from somewhere, they don't have any family or friends here. And I just love watching these sort of relationships foster, especially when I see like a couple come into the program, because it's usually one of them is forcing the other one to be there. But I think at the end of the day, the community is a huge piece of it, because community helps you stay active. Other individuals are encouraging you as well. But I think another piece of it is those check-ins. I think the check-ins are really important. I think older adults, especially when they're new to exercise or something like that, they don't always know what they're supposed to feel, what they're supposed to experience, what's right and what's wrong when they're, having this delayed onset muscle soreness or something. So I think the greatest benefit is having accessibility to not just the other people in the group, but also the coach and the resources that they get in, if they're in a facility or in a community group. I think that that's a huge benefit for older adults, because I've met a lot of older adults who have spent quite a lot of money on personal training and felt like they received nothing back. And I think a program like this, that's not just free, but it's encouraging people to stay active, to keep going, that kind of stuff, rather than keep paying us and we'll keep exercising with you. I think that is a huge difference in why it works versus why maybe personal training doesn't always work. But yeah, I think that's a huge piece, is just the opportunity to try this free, no risk to them. They can bring a family member, they can meet friends. I've even had people start these programs and see someone and they're like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in 20 years. Like I've had that happen a few times actually. So it's always incredible I think it's so important for older adults to have that community. And I think a lot of people who come into programs like Choose to Move don't always. So I think it makes a huge difference in their lives.
100%, because I know there's those two aspects, and I know a lot of people go into it thinking, oh, it's like kind of an exercise program, not really sure what it is, but then they leave with like this great sense of community, or like a brand new friend, or like somebody to hold them accountable, right?
Yeah, and then they have all the info too. Like I've had so many people reach out and be like, that nutrition session was so good. Like everyone loves that. It's bulky, it's a lot of info, but they love it, because they get to ask questions and they don't have to wait 4 hours to see a doctor to get their question answered about what a carb is or something, so.
Yeah, exactly. And I know, especially with older adults, sometimes digital literacy is like a topic that's kind of different for everybody. So having resources that are trustworthy that we're going to provide them is like, it just makes their life so much easier. So I think that's also great, like you said. So I just want to ask you, what do you hope for the future of Choose to Move, or what do you hope for it to look like?
I mean, first of all, the first thing I want to say with this question is, I think already there's been so many improvements to the program, even in the short 2 years that I've been doing it. Like the new slide decks have been awesome. The new one sheets have been great, more organized, easier for older adults to read. But I don't think that necessarily means that we're done improving. You know, there's always things that we can improve, but I think it always comes down more to user experience. I've had some people who come through Choose to Move that, like you said, don't necessarily have the same digital literacy as maybe another person in the program who might be a few years younger. And I have seen some challenges for these people, you know, especially if they're in our facility where we offer them like a free 3-month membership. They have to sign up online, and a lot of people really struggle with that. So we try to find these sort of variations where they could use the desk or phone or something. But of course, it's not going to be the same as an online option. So I'm always trying to think of ways to make things easier for people in my facility specifically, and I know it's going to be different in every facility. But I think Choose to Move has just been, like, I've used so much what I've learned from Choose to Move in all my other appointments, you know, through my days, through life. I think it's been so valuable. The training is so important and so good. It's maybe not as exciting as being in person with a bunch of people, but it's a lot of like information that you really need to make that experience easier for these older adults. Because when someone like me who's in their 20s is coaching people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, there's a big gap there. And it's going to be difficult for me to foresee everything that might go wrong or might not work, right? So I'm always trying to take the feedback of the group. There has been a few times where people have sort of dropped out or stopped coming or something, and I always try to reach out to those people specifically to try to get their feedback. They don't always phone me back, but when they do, they're always giving me really good feedback, really good reasons why this program didn't work for them at this time. And I think I just love this program so much. I think there's so many things that we could do with it, so many ways you could go with this program. And I think the beautiful thing with this program is it's very self-directed in a way where you can kind of decide which topic are we going to focus on today. And I mean, of course, if it's nutrition, but we might focus more on carbs if people are asking questions about carbs or something like that. So I think at least the way, and I might be going way off track what the question was, but at least the way I try to make the program consistent or improve every time I do it is using the feedback from the people in the program and just make it a little bit easier. You know, I've had some people say like, we would love it if the door was open 5 minutes early so we could come and sit, which it might be something that people in their 20s and 30s don't think of, but when they're older adults and there's not enough seats in the front, they need somewhere to come sit. So it's just these little things that I try to do to make the program better for these people, more accessible, so they keep coming and keep engaging with the content. I might have completely lost track of what the question was.
No. You're good. I think you answered it in there, and it was just about like the future of Choose to Move. But honestly, I totally agree. Like that, it's awesome that based on like who you're coaching, you can like kind of change and customize it. Like I love that flexibility about the program. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It
it's
feels
it's
like,
honestly.
no, go ahead.
Oh no, you. That I have nothing else to say. You take the floor.
I was just gonna say, it feels like every time I run a new program, it's like a new program to me, if that makes sense. Like I feel like I'm always almost relearning the content with them, and like, oh yeah, like last time I ran this, I had a bunch of questions on this, so I should do a bit of research before I start this program so that I have those answers ready. Because there's lots of times where people ask me questions and I'm like, I actually don't know. Why don't we look it up together and talk about the information as a group? Future of Choose to Move, I think it's only going to keep getting better. If we keep having coaches like myself, and I'm sure there's like, I've got so many emails with tons of other coaches, like there's probably loads of people teaching this right now. And I think the more people that are teaching it, the better the future of the program is going to be. We're going to get more, people filling out the surveys. We're going to get more people giving us feedback, more coaches who are more familiar and can keep developing their own version of that Choose to Move. I think it has a very bright future. I really hope it does anyway, because I think this program is phenomenal. And I feel like every older adult over 55 that isn't exercising should do this program. I feel like it would have such a benefit for the community.
Yeah, totally. No, it's awesome. And honestly, every activity coach that I've like spoken to, because I've done a few interviews, they seem like super, super passionate about it, like yourself, which is awesome. So it really like speaks to me because I'm like, oh, there's actually some real substance there and like real changes that are happening. So I think it's fantastic.
Actually, I did have a group, it might actually be this week. I had a group recently finish, and they didn't even want to leave when the program ended. Like I said, it's 11 o'clock, like someone has this room booked, we should probably get out. And all of them were just like, but we don't want to leave. Like, we're having so much fun together. So then they convinced me that it would be a good idea for us to have a follow-up. So we're going to do a follow-up at the end of this week. They finished their program about a month ago, or maybe a month and a half ago now. So they all wanted to do a follow-up so they could see each other and bring snacks and stuff. I love that. I think that that is adorable, and that is what this program is about.
Yeah, that is fantastic. And like that's not the only case that I've heard about these type of things. Like people just love the program and they're so eager to take it that they're sad when they find out they have to wait like 2 years to like take it again. But it
Yeah.
definitely sets people up for success, which is really awesome.
Yeah, it's a great program. I genuinely think, I mean, I'm trying to convince the Y here to get another coach or two certified so that we can run more programs, because there's always this huge wait list that we have here when we run it. Because I think in Kelowna we typically only run one, but there's always this influx of people, and there's always happens to be like we present to a church or we present to a senior society or something, and then one person from that group spreads this information to everybody, and then we get like 40 people asking us if they can join, and we can only take like 15 or so that fits in our room. So I'm trying to get them to like get another coach so that I can train someone through the next round that I do, and then they can take on one maybe at another facility, because we only run it in KFY right now, and there's 3 facilities in Kelowna. Sorry, I know you're not in Kelowna, so what's that?
No. I'm really interested. And like you said, it's like the future of Choose to Move, like teaching more people how to, have the program going. So that's fantastic. Well, I just want to say thank you for like being an activity coach, because like I'm on the communication side of it and like we do some other work, but like you're really in there like changing
Yeah.
people's lives too. So I just want to say without you, we wouldn't be able to do it. So yeah, thanks so
Yeah, I
much,
love doing
Alex.
it. So it's no hassle to me. It's great. I
Okay.
enjoy it so much.
Alrighty, well, I won't keep you too much longer. I'll probably let you go now. But yeah, just thanks again for joining me. It was awesome like meeting you. I love meeting the coaches. It's been really great.
Yeah, have a good day. Thanks
Yeah,
so
you
much.
too. See you later.
Bye.